Hi guys, I'm Chris G here. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Anyway, I got a special request from the kids, some of these kids to do apple fritters, apple fritters. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just gonna get right in it. And when you're doing apple fritters, I find, well, I just basically do it and when I get a request or whatever. But when you're doing it, you need apples, right? And the best apple is Honeycrisp apple to use. This apple is very good, because it's not too tart. It's a little on the tart side, but at the same time, it's still very sweet. So basically, this is the best apple to use. This apple right here, Honeycrisp apple, okay? So what I have here, folks, I have about two apples cut up. You see they're very big apples, yeah. Two cut up here, and I just put a little tips of lemon juice to keep in. And so basically, folks, like the apple pie, I'm gonna cook the apple first, because the thing about this, when you're doing the fritters cook very fast, right? And when you cook, the apple is still in it like it's raw. It's basically, the apple pie is a different thing. So we're gonna cook the apple, okay? So I have 2 tablespoons of butter in the pot right now, and okay, and there are several parts to this, folks. So this first part that we're gonna be doing cooking the apple. So you're just gonna need your apple, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of butter, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, and the thing about it, once the apple is cooked, we cool it, and then we just add it to the rest of the ingredients. I'm just gonna let the stove heat up a bit right now, okay? So, and these are the same apple crisps that you buy in Tim Hortons and places like that, folks. There's so many things that we can make for ourselves. So this is this. So what I did, I put about a couple tablespoons of I leave all of that in the description to keep the apple from from getting brown. And you cut them up very small, okay? And like I said, the reason why I'm cooking it, because fritters, you're frying it and it's gonna fry very fast, so the apple won't be cooked. Unlike the apple pie, you put it in the oven for 40 minutes or so, your apple and everything cooked. So we're cooking the apple first. Some people, I guess, do not cook it, they just do it like that. But this, I find you get a very good result doing it this way, okay? So I'm just letting this heat it up a bit, and I put that in, and once this is cooked, we just put it to cool, and we start the batter itself, okay? It's pretty fast once you have all the ingredients, folks, to do apple fritters. And this you get in Tim Hortons, McDonald's. I don't know if McDonald's, but I know it's in Tim Hortons for sure. In the anywhere you buy donut, and they're very good. Well, mind you, I don't really do a lot of Tim Hortons or McDonald's or any of that. I don't really go to fast food places when I was younger. Yeah, but not anymore. I have a lot of enjoyment from doing my own cooking. Okay, so once this is heated a bit, we're gonna add the apple to it. Okay, and this is around 2 large apples, folks, because these apples are very, very large, and you're gonna cut them up in small pieces. These are Honeycrisp apple, so these are very good. Okay, so right now we're gonna add the 2 tablespoons of sugar to it, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, because you're talking about apple, folks, so you want all of that goodness. Okay, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla to it. Okay, and we're gonna let that cook for about 5 to 7 to 8 minutes, and at that point it will just suck out all of the moisture, so we're gonna let this cook for from 5 to about 7 minutes. You see all that water that it produces? Yes, all of that gonna be dried out. Yeah, so we're gonna let that cook for a few minutes. Okay, folks, once this is done, the apple is cooked. We're just gonna get the filling all ready to go. So folks, once the apple is finished cooking cool, we'll come back, okay? All right. Guys, I am back. And let me show you what the apple looks like. It's all cooked. It's right here. And see, all the moisture is gone from it. And it's cooled. So right now, folks, we're going to do the batter. So, you know, I like to sieve my flour already. So we're using 1 2/3 cups of flour. And we're going to be using 3½ tablespoon of sugar, 2½ tablespoon of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoon salt. And you know, if you have salt, I think you can reduce that. But this is basically the recipe come with. And you got 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and we're gonna have 2 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 1/2 cup of milk, and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. And that has to be cool, folks. The melted butter, okay? That has to be cool. So right now, okay, so here we have the flour. We're gonna add the sugar to it, and I'll just leave all of this the recipe in the description. Cinnamon, nutmeg, salt, and I'm gonna mix that. Together, gonna mix all of this together. Then here we have the egg, the milk, and the melted butter. Okay, everything goes in. So it's 1/2 cup of milk, and I am using Coronation evaporated milk. This one. And we also have the vanilla, okay? And we're just gonna incorporate everything, folks, and we're gonna make sure that it's not too runny and it's not just the right consistency. And we add the apples. I forgot about the apples. I'm always forgetting about something, folks. The other day I did my apple pie and I almost forgot about the thickener. But, you know, it turns out okay. Well, it's all aged, folks. Once most of my recipe I used to know a lot of them by heart, but now I just make sure I wrote some of them down. So yeah, so everything is gonna be mixed right now, folks, and no water added to it, just what we have here, okay? No water is gonna be added to it. It's a fritters, folks. It's a fritters. See? So just incorporate everything well. Just like I would do my saltfish fritters or my banana fritters or plantain fritters. Maybe a little different technique, but you have to make sure that your fritters doesn't get too watery or too thick. See, folks, that's what we're looking for. See that? Yeah. Apple fritters. 1 apple fritters in Tim Hortons, I think, is about 2 something, huh? Yeah. And from this batch, I think we might be able to get about maybe 8 or 10. You know, so this is it right here, folks. This is what it looks like. That's what we're looking for, that consistency. So I'm just gonna move the operation over to the stove. Right now, and I have the pot heated, and for the best result, folks, I would say use the vegetable oil. You know, I love my coconut oil and my olive oil, but for best result in a lot of frying, I always find you use a vegetable oil or canola oil or stuff like that. I'm just using vegetable oil right now to get the best result. And I'm just, the pot is just heated, folks. Heating right now, so you know, I had start adding stuff to it. The fritters to it. So I'll move the camera. Because I am the cameraman and woman here, folks, so I'm a jack of all trades. So the oil is just heating now. And then we'll just start to fry the fritters. And it's apple fritters, folks. And this will be fun with all the kids because, you know, my niece and nephew, they're the one who wanted that. So I'll just start it so when they come over, they just get it. Yeah. That's fun for the whole family. So I'm just waiting for the oil to heat up, folks, and okay, let's see if that oil is heated. And this oil, you don't have to add any, you don't want to add anything to it, just fry. And folks, the thing about the apples, like cooking them, they're not, you know, to the point where they're soggy. They're still at that crispy to them, but on the same size, they're, you know, crisp. Still have that crisp to them. They're not soft and soggy. So when you bite into them, you'll bite into your apple pie. Okay. So let me see. And size-wise, choose your size that you want. You know, that's how I always do it. And I think this amount can make like I said, I can get about either 8 to 10, and depending on what size you make them. And you know, folks, if you have more kids, you double up the recipe. That's it. And the best result is to use a good apple, like Honey Crisp, as I say. And after we finish them, we have to cool a bit, and then we're gonna have also the glaze to put on, and that part is pretty easy. And as for the glaze, folks, a lot of people use milk in the ice and sugar. All I use, folks, is some lemon juice, and it's awesome because that tanginess from the lemon mixed with the ice and sugar, the sweet, so it is like the lemon just give it a balance. It's so nice. You got, I know in most of these recipes is milk you use to mix for the glaze with the ice and sugar, but a friend of mine gave me this idea way back, and I tried it, and it's awesome. Just use the lemon. Let's see how this works out. Let's start frying. And folks, you know, you sort of just flatten them out, you know, just use your, and like I said, it can be any shape, any size. And I normally have 3 in there because I make them at a good size. So, you know, when you buy them at T-Mart, they get a nice good one for $2 or so. So I just normally just flatten them out. So in this pot, I probably just have about 3. And a couple minutes on each side. And then you flip them over. Yeah, just flatten them out like that. The smell, folks, with the nutmeg, the vanilla, and the cinnamon. It's, I don't know who came up with that combination for apples with the cinnamon, but folks, it is an awesome. My kitchen smells so good right now. Just like when I was baking the apple pie a couple days ago. They're coming along. So I do 3. I might get, like I said, 9 or 10. We'll see where it takes us. In the meantime, I'm just gonna get a cookie sheet or something to for them to drain on. So that's another way you get the best result when you start to drain properly. And a couple minutes on each side, and I flip them over. And I realize I'm using the larger stove burner. Move them around. And you know, apple fritters, when you look at them, folks, they're like all so look elongated, sort of ill-shaped, and they have a sort of rough thing to them. But that's how, you know, that's all about your fritters. Lower the heat a bit because you want to make sure. You see, this way, folks, it's easier to cook because if the apple went in raw, excuse me, you're frying it, it's gonna, you come out and the apples are gonna be, you know, just raw the same way, because when you frying it takes a lot less time. That's the whole idea. So you cook the apple and you know, that's it. Even some apple pie, when they do it, I've seen people cook the apples, slightly cook it, and you know, they get a good result sometimes. So folks, these are going to be frying, and so I'm just going to fry everything, and when I'm done frying and come back, when I come back, they will be ready to glaze them, right? They will be cool and ready to glaze, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and the fritters are all done, and we're just preparing the glaze. And like I said, most recipe call for the milk and along with the ice and sugar. So we have 2 cups of confectionery or icing sugar, as some people might call it, and we're gonna basically you could do that with milk, but like I said, a friend of mine taught me this way with the lemon juice. And what the lemon juice do, it takes away some of the sweetness, so it balances it out, and it gives an awesome taste, folks. So I'm going to be using the lemon juice with the confectionery sugar or icing sugar, and about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. So we use a lot of vanilla all the way through. So all I'm going to be doing right now, folks, is just add lemon juice to the icing sugar. And just mix, mix, mix. And folks, this will do the trick. Just keep mixing Mix in that icing sugar, mix in that confectionery sugar, and you'd be surprised a little lemon juice go a long way, folks. Look at that. See? This is the glaze that's gonna go on top. So can you imagine the taste of the lemon in it, folks? I'm gonna add a little bit more lemon juice. Just a little more. So the sweet against the how would you describe lemon juice? Sour. So that's it right there. That's it. Look at that. All done. So we're just gonna add a little vanilla right now. And they're cool, so make sure when you do them, folks, they're cool, okay? So to put your glaze on. So I'm gonna have half a teaspoon of vanilla to that, and then we start. And you know, you just have your brush and you brush them on any way you want to brush on. You know, it's like I said, you don't have to, no pro around. You're doing this at home, and the ones that you buy in T-Mart, where they're so fresh every day, folks, those are make and put in freezers, you know. I think we found out a couple of years ago, we thought everything was fresh Tim Horton. And they have to admit, yes, they make them and keep them in the freezer. So folks, this is what I'll be doing right now. I'm gonna just glaze those. And you just use your brush. And you just put your glaze on any way you want. Nothing fancy, so I just go like that. Any way you want, any which way. And you can also cover the whole thing, cover them up. And this is a nice breakfast treat, you know, folks. You apple fritters and a nice cup of coffee, and even for the kids, the apple fritters, you know. So this is also because, you know, this is a big breakfast thing, you know, donut and thing at Tim Horton, right? Yeah. I mean, you could have this any old time, but this is a big breakfast thing. People stop in at Timmy's and grab their and apple fritters. A lot of time, I used to hear a friend of mine who love it so much. When they go, they're always sold out. Always sold out, you know. Yeah. So you just glaze it on like that. Yeah. Folks, the lemon and the confectionery sugar taste is so nice together. Like I said, the sourness from the lemon just cancel out the sweet, you know, because normally you'll use milk. People use milk to mix this, but a friend of mine, so I went by her one day and she was doing it, and she was, and I said, you using lemon too? She said, yes, try it, and I tried it a couple of times. And I have a long weekend is coming up. I think it's what, in July, Canada Day and all of that. So, you know, the kids, my niece and nephews there. Yeah, so. But folks, that's it. You don't have to, and you don't have to do both sides. But I'm gonna do both sides of one and try it, and folks, and tell you. Because you know what? The cooks are the first one to try to sample it, right? So folks, I'm gonna break this one. Wow. Crispy and crunchy on the outside. The lemon give it a tangy taste. Folks, these are good. Folks. That is so good. And that is apple fritters right there, folks. I'm just gonna display a few. So folks, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. And Evelyn and Noreen and all my loyal subscribers, big up yourself. And we're gonna have a nice cup of coffee and get yourself a nice apple fritters, okay? So folks, this is apple fritters right here. There you go, folks. That's apple fritters. Big up everybody, and guys, take it easy. That's apple fritters there, folks. Thanks. Have a good night. Peace.